Thank you guys so much. How's everyone doing? Good. So my journey to being here and actually building my personal brand actually started 5 years ago, just 5 years ago, in a hallway, okay? And this is gonna sound kind of interesting, but I always wanted to speak. I was doing content, I was putting myself out there, and I wanted to become an educator, so I wanted to speak more. And I applied to speak at an event, okay? So I applied to speak at this marketing event, and I told them all the things I knew. I was a nerd, I'm all into this stuff, and they said, sure, Neel, you can speak at the event. And so here's what I did. I worked on this thing incessantly for weeks. I put together my talk, I practiced it, I got there, and I was ready to go. And I meet with the organizer at the event, and I go to the stage to do the sound check, and he goes, Neel, hold on a second, there's been a change. You're no longer going to be speaking on the main stage. We're going to have you, don't worry, you'll still speak, but you're just not going to be speaking on the main stage. And I was kind of disappointed, but I said, okay, no problem, we'll just roll with it. Well, it turns out they didn't even give me a breakout room. They put me in the hallway, okay? And there was 8 people in the hallway. Now, mind you, this was a conference with 1,000 people in the event. And so I go into this hallway, this is 5 years ago, and I'm thinking to myself, what am I doing here? Should I be doing this? I just prepared all this stuff, and then it turned out to be this huge letdown. But I said, you know what, just get it together, man. Let's just do this. Let's do the best we can for these 8 people. So I go ahead and do this. It was not good, okay? I was not good at communication at that time. I needed the arena, honestly. I didn't have it. It didn't exist, okay? And so I got through it. But then afterwards, something really cool happened. One of the people in that 8-person group came up to me and they said, Neel, bro, I learned more from you in 20 minutes than I learned at this entire 2-day event. And it just hit me, and I was like, man, that was really cool. And so obviously I stuck with it, and I continue to do this, and I continue to grow. I built my personal brand by putting out content on social media. This allowed me to blow up my business, achieve financial success, which is awesome, but more importantly, it allowed me to love what I do again. How many of you ever get burnt out or feel overwhelmed in the industry that you're in? I'm in the, most of us, okay, so I'm in the real estate mortgage industry, and it's just, I was on a treadmill just running. The second I stopped doing sales activity, my business would stop. Does anyone ever feel like that? And you get tired of running, right? And so I wanted to change the game. And so I started building my personal brand. It turned out awesome, but in the beginning, it was cringe-worthy. Then I wanted to become an educator. I wanted to teach. I wanted to speak. Again, it was cringe-worthy in the beginning, but I stuck with it, and then now I have an education platform where we serve thousands of people throughout the country. We teach people how to build their personal brand. And so I lived most of my life in this circle here, this circle right here. And I feel like a lot of us are in there. You have these dreams, but you're just not doing it for whatever reason. Anybody ever feel like that? You just wonder, what's the missing link here? And I don't wish this, but I can't tell you a near-death experience caused me to move into that bottom section. I don't have that type of story for you today, but I will say this. What got me there was just asking different questions, okay? And I'll tell you this, that bottom section, you would think there's a lot of people there. It's a very elite group of people who go after things and who consistently execute. I always say this, I believe that no industry is saturated because most people suck at what they do. Does anybody agree? Yes. So it doesn't take much. You'd be surprised how easy it is to beat the competition if you're just consistent. Okay, there's so many of you in here who think these things are far away. You're actually a lot closer than you think. So here's the question that I was always asking myself. I said, hey, how can I find more clients? I spent 15 years thinking to myself every day, how do I get more business? How do I get my next client? What changed everything for me was flipping this around and saying, how can I make myself more findable for the people who need my service? You would be shocked to know how many people need the thing that you offer. They're just a few questions away, or they don't know you. I did a podcast with Grant Cardone recently, and he told me, if people don't know you, they can't flow you. He's always talking about cash flow. But it's so true, right? And so when you think about your personal brand, think about it this way. I know there's a lot of different definitions of personal brand, but here's how I describe a personal brand. I describe a personal brand as what people say about you when you're not in the room. So I'm blessed to where some people out there say nice things about me. This gives me more opportunity. And so what are people saying about you? Is your name come up in those rooms? When people think of your industry, does your name come up? And so what I'd love to do today, in the short time I have here, is I'd love to show you the framework that I've used to build a powerful personal brand. It's a 3-step framework. And not only did this change my business, it changed my life. Would you guys be interested in learning about this? Yeah. Okay, good. Just want to make sure. After lunch, you never know. But let's get into it. So this is my 3C system, okay? And you can screenshot this or write this down. It's very important. But it's content, connection, conversion. You need all 3 steps to build a powerful personal brand using content. A lot of people skip one of the 3 steps. They'll just do one. Some people just do sales. They just do conversion, and it doesn't work as well. Some people do content, but they never ask for business, or they don't ask in the right way. So I'd love to show you all 3 steps, and it's really something that you can implement immediately, okay? Here's the good news. The game on social media has changed. I'm in the game. I post content every day, every week, 52 weeks a year, so I can tell you it's different today than it was a year ago, and it's actually moved in your favor. All the platforms except for LinkedIn have switched from the social graph to the interest graph, and let me just explain what this means. It used to be that the people who followed you on social media would see your content. And if you had a YouTube channel, the people who subscribed to your channel would see your videos. The game changed, and now they just show you content that you're interested in. So when you go into social media and you start scrolling in your feed of Reels or on TikTok or on YouTube, it shows you what they believe, the algorithm believes you would watch. And most of this is people you do not follow. And if you go into Instagram right now and you just start scrolling, there'll be some videos that are viral, there'll be some great hits, and then all of a sudden there'll be a video pop up in your feed from somebody and it has 3 likes on it. That person's getting an audition with you. That's your video that you post. So the crazy thing is there's somebody in this room that has 200 followers. I have 200,000 followers, and you can get more views than me if you make a good piece of content. Does that make sense? Every piece of content is being judged independently. The game is totally different. Now, people with big audiences are mad. They're like, man, how do I get the algorithm to show it to my people? But the people who are on the come up, this is the greatest opportunity I've ever seen in digital marketing. And most people are asleep on this. So I'd love to show you how this works and how you can take advantage of it. Some of you are doing this, and I'd love for your content to get even better. The 3 pillars of my content are to educate, entertain, and inspire. Those are my 3 pillars. Now, I'm not really good at the entertainment portion just yet. I can't get up here and dance, but I will tell you this. I'm really good at education. I love teaching. You know, I always say this, if you ever feel burnt out or in a rut, just help somebody else. I found that I got re-inspired about everything in life when I just started helping other people, and then it all came back to me. And here's the thing with content right now. Theoretical content is dying, and you need to show people things. So when you make a video, if it's general or theoretical, it's very difficult for people to grasp that. Now, if you already have a big audience and you're an expert, people already trust you. But if you're on the come up and you're building your personal brand, you need to show people specific things. So let me give you an example. I'm in the real estate space. So I could say, guys, I want to teach you 3 things that you need to know before you buy your first investment property. That would be theoretical or just general content. What would actually work today 10 times better is if I said, guys, I want to show you how my client Susan just purchased this rental property with only 3% down or with only this $15,000. That's a specific example, a specific property, a specific case study. Does that make sense? So anytime that you can actually teach something that happened, it's real, something you did or something your clients did, people really connect with that. And it makes a big difference. You'll see the amount of people who view your content go up exponentially. Hey, quick question for you. How much have you been loving these podcast episodes? I've been getting so much great feedback from you guys. And right here is where I would typically put in an ad read for these episodes, but you know what? I was thinking about it. The only thing I really want to promote right now, the only thing I want you to do is just hit that subscribe button. I'm trying to grow this thing out, and so many of you are watching and listening and sharing, but you're not subscribed to the channel. So whether you're watching or listening, hit the follow button, hit subscribe, and that's gonna allow me to grow this thing. Let's get back to the episode. The other thing is quality of the content. Now, you don't need to worry about making your videos look perfect, but I'll say this. People treat you better when your content looks better. So all you need to do, I shoot most of my videos on my iPhone, and I'll show you guys some examples in a moment. The first thing you need to do is just wipe the lens, okay? I don't know what is going on here, but I see so many of you posting videos, and it looks like you scraped chapstick right across the lens before you shot the video. And these are people, there are influential people in this room. I'm not gonna name any names, but they will post a video, and it's like, man, could you wipe the lens, please? And I'm telling you, it makes a big difference because people associate the quality of your content with you. So I just try and make it a little bit better, and it stands out. Again, you talk about that circle. Who are the people in the elite club? It's a very small club of people who take this stuff seriously. So I want you to be intentional when you shoot a video. At the same time, I don't want you to worry about being perfect because I love this quote. It says, perfectionism is procrastination masquerading as quality control. So many of you guys are saying, hey, I'm not ready, it's not perfect yet. Really, you're just pushing the can down the road. You need to get the content out there. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I would aim for like a 6 or 7. That's good enough on the quality scale. Get your phone dialed in and shoot the videos. If you're more than an arm's length away, you need a microphone. If anybody ever needs a list of equipment, I'm happy to share it with you. But it's not like you need to invest in all this gear. You need your phone. An iPhone works. If you have an Android, it might work still, I'm not sure. But if you have an iPhone, it'll work. And you need a mic, and you need a light. You need good lighting, that's it. And if you don't want to buy a light, just go outside. The sun is free. That's all you need. The next thing that you need to do, this is very important. By the way, is this helping you guys? Yeah. Okay, good. So I just want to make sure. So the next thing you need to do is start your videos better. Erwin said this on one of the arena calls. He said, hey, if you start good, the audience will give you incredible grace. If you start bad, your host, this is the problem. So you have a little audition with this person. Imagine your video pops up, somebody's mindlessly scrolling. You're on an audition with them. What are you gonna say? 3 seconds. So that first line is really important. I've found to this day that many people use their audition to introduce themselves. And you would think this is like, nobody does that. No, a lot of people do. They pop on and they say, hey guys, happy Friday. It's a great day out here in LA. I'm at Mosaic Church and I'm at the arena conference. Everybody's gone. They've left the video. Even your family that hearted it up, they didn't watch the video. They've left, okay? So what I want you to do is start with a hook, okay? I want you to start these videos better. So I'm gonna give you an example of one, okay? Here's one that you guys can screenshot. So this one works no matter what industry you're in. It's called a dog whistle. You say the thing that would identify the person watching the video. So you would say, if you are, and you would insert this group of people, you might be thinking this, but here's the thing, and then you explain you explain what's next. So I might say this. I might say, look, man, if you're someone who's struggling with communication, you might be thinking this is something you're born with, and you either have it or you don't. But here's the truth, and then I would teach my point. Does that make sense? You can insert this. You could use this one for the whole year long. You would come up with so many ideas when you use this. I have about 20 more of these that you could use. And I want to put them all in, I put them all in a document that I want to share with the arena. So if anybody wants them, you can just scan this QR code and I'll send them to you. And I'll also send you all the equipment. It's all free. I just want to make sure I provided a ton of value for you guys here today. So here's the thing. I'll give you a moment to do that real quick. And by the way, I'm in the arena. I was one of the first people to join. And this is an incredible program, so if you guys are thinking like, hey, should I join this? Just join, okay? Like, so much time is spent thinking about doing the thing, let's just do the thing, you know what I mean? It's an incredible group of people. I've made what I consider to be lifelong connections in the group. And I've learned so much, and I don't even attend all the calls, and I learned so much. So just think about how you can level up your community and join that. Most people tell me this, they say, Neel, I don't have the time to create content. I'm busy, I got stuff to do. So I just want to ask a question. If you're in a client service business, you have customers, how many of you are in a business where each client is meaningful to your business? Okay, most of us. If you had a potential client book an appointment with you, they booked a time to meet with you, they booked a time to jump on a call, there's a consultation, what are the odds that you would just blow this off and not show up? None? Somebody said 50-50. I don't know. I don't want to know about your business, okay? For me, it's 0. There's no way I'm not showing up. So I just wondered this. Why is it that we will show up for our clients? We'll show up for our kids, our family. We'll show up for strangers. But when it comes to you, you won't show up for yourself. We serve everybody else, and we come last. So I don't think it's selfish to put yourself ahead of everybody. I think you should be first, because that allows you to create more opportunities and be better for everybody else. So I don't think that's selfish at all. And so what I would like you to do is just schedule it on your calendar like it's non-negotiable. You have to show up. Put the time on the calendar, and I'd like you to break it up into 2 things. One is going to be a session for ideation, and then the next session would be when you actually shoot content. If you try and do both together, very little gets done. You need to work on all the ideas. Think about it. Be intentional. Don't just wing it. Okay? Think about what you're going to be shooting. Come up with some ideas. Inspiration might strike when you're shooting. That's great. But think about the ideas first. And then now, it could be the next day or it could be the next week. When you go to shoot the videos, it's going to be so much better because you're walking in prepared. You're ready to roll. And I want to give you this framework that I use that will help you so much. Every day, you should make something before you manage. Manage to me is I open up my phone and I get into the emails, I start putting out fires, I start calling people back, I deal with this deal that's going south, I deal with my staff who's asked me a question. And you're immediately into it, and then there's no time for creativity. So I believe every day you should make before you manage. Think about this. It could be something very simple, just really quick. For me, I start off every day, I write something on Twitter. It takes me just a few minutes, and then I screenshot that and post on Instagram and Facebook. It takes me very little time. But I've created something. I've served me before I served everybody else. Do that, and you'll see your world change. You'll also see that your day goes better because you haven't put off the thing. You could shoot a quick video. You could write something. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. Now, the next thing I want to get into really quick is the 3 steps. This is number 2, connection. If it's all about the business and you don't connect with the audience, you're not going to get the biggest results. Now, this is, again, for people who are on the come up. Not necessarily someone who's already a 7-time best-selling author. That's a different formula. For those of us who are coming up, you need to connect with the audience. And I would argue that even those people should connect more. But it's really important for people to become influential to do this. I do this both in stories on Instagram and also in the feed. It used to be that most people share this behind the scenes only in their stories. You should also share it in your feed, okay? And so I would love to know, why do you do what you do for a living? This is a great video. Just explain it. It doesn't have to be a viral video, but you should connect with the audience. Why do you do what you do? There's got to be a story behind this, and most people never tell that story online. The other thing is have an opinion on something. So many people are scared to share their opinion. Like you're worried about what people are going to say, or maybe you have a prediction that you have for your industry or what's going on in the market, and you don't want to share that because you could be wrong. So I have this formula I will share with you, if you can even call it that. When you share your opinion on what's going to happen, and let's just say that you're dead wrong, okay? Something happens crazy with the elections. There's another pandemic, there's a war somewhere, and everything you said turns out to be wrong, whatever you predicted. Here's what you're going to do. You open up Instagram, you find the video that you made, you just delete the effing video. It's really simple. That's all you have to do. Did you know that most people make predictions? They make 10 predictions. They don't tell you all the ones they got right. They highlight the 2 or 3 that went right, and they don't talk about the other 7. And so if you're the expert, if you're the absolute expert at what you do, we need to make more predictions. Tell people what to expect. They're looking to you as a thought leader. You need to give it to them. Your fear of looking dumb is holding you back. You know, so many of us are like worried about looking dumb. It's holding you back. I did this interview with Jesse Itzler. You guys know Jesse Itzler? He's an incredible entrepreneur. He's a billionaire, I believe. He's launched and sold multiple businesses. He told me the greatest gift you can give yourself is to get over the fear of being embarrassed. Those first sessions I did speaking were embarrassing. My content, if I showed you guys right now, is cringe-worthy 5 years ago. By the way, it's bad when you can't even get through your own video. You're watching and you're like, man, how do I expect other people to watch this? I can't even get through it, right? And so when you're sharing personal content on a connection basis, I like these 4 Fs: food, faith, family, fitness. Okay, there's 4 Fs here. You can also add fashion if you want to add a 5th F, right? If you're into that, right? And you just want to share one of these 5 things, in your personal content. I like 70-30, like for every 10 posts, 3 would be personal, 7 would be business. But here's the thing. A guy outside told me he's a degenerate gambler. You probably want to leave that one out. But use one of the 5. You could swap one of these out, like whatever you think would work in between there, okay? Is there anybody in the room who is just a diehard sports fan of a specific team, a particular team? Dodgers? No, Michigan. Okay. Michigan Wolverines, right? All right. So did you know, what's your name? Danny. Did you know, Danny, that if you would simply wear the Michigan gear in your videos, the algorithm would show it to other Michigan fans? It's gotten that good and dialed in. If you put the hat on, somebody's going to give you 5 seconds on the audition because they love the same team. So many of you are hiding these interests when literally those would be the things that would connect you to the audience. I have ADD, if you can't tell already. Maybe some of you can tell, but I have ADD. I've talked about this online. It's been the biggest thing that's connected me with more people. Vulnerability is a strength. Whatever you think is holding you back is actually going to help more people because they share the same thing. They share the same interests. They share the same struggles. And if you share that, you're going to crush it. The other thing that I talk a lot about is my family. I share this on my social media. Now, some people are not comfortable sharing more family things. I am. I'm a father, I'm a husband, and I love my family. And I'll tell you this. This was like, I believe 4 years ago. I got so caught up in work every day. I came home and my wife told me, she said, Neel, we're learning to live without you. And it hit me. I was like, man, I had taken my eye off of my family and was really just, constantly going with work, and thinking about stuff, and I wasn't being the best dad and husband. And it really kind of brought me back. And honestly, since that time, I spend more time with my family now, but I've had the biggest business success over that time period. And so I'll tell you this, if there's anybody in this room who has something off at home, maybe like your relationship with your spouse isn't dialed in right now, it's not the best, I would just tell you this, please fix that first, because you're going to be handicapped in business otherwise. You with me on this, bro? 100%. I'm telling you guys, if you lock that in, you'll be a beast in business. Nobody can mess with me when my home life is dialed in. So take care of this first, okay? Yeah, let's clap it up for that. And so just share more things like I'm doing in this talk right now. I'm sharing more things that are important to me. Because of that, somebody won't forget me. You'll stick out. And the main thing is we are all in this room so much more than what we do for a living. Everybody just thinks it's all about the business and all about, how many views you can get. No, people will connect with you, and that makes a lot more clients. So I'd just love to share something with you on a personal level. Has anybody, do anybody in this room, do you have children that want to go to a Taylor Swift concert? Have you ever had a kid that wanted to go to Taylor Swift? Okay, we got 1. 2, okay. So my daughter is a Swiftie, okay? And like politics aside, that's some crazy stuff, but she's a Swiftie, okay? She loves Taylor Swift. And she just wants to go. She's been a child, she's asking me to go, and Taylor Swift's coming through, and she's like, I want to go, Dad. She's asking me for a year. Finally, we decided to send her. Now, I was shocked to see how expensive the tickets were. This was like a shock, but we decided to send her. And so I want to share with you how I decided to share this on social. I could have just not said anything. I could have maybe said a picture of her at the concert, but I decided to tell the quick story of it. So check this out, just as an example. it gets me kind of choked up because she was so happy, you know? And what's interesting is I just recorded my phone and then decided to share it on social. And that was my #1 viewed Instagram story last year. And so many people connected with me, and then I'm not saying exploit your children. I'm just saying, I'm saying, hey, maybe a little bit. But, man, I'm getting my money's worth out of those tickets, But I'm just saying, look, hey, if I'm a good dad and I want to share something that I felt, share it on social media. Somebody here will remember me because of this, right? It just can't be all about the facts. And when you share stories on social media, just think about this. It doesn't need to be remarkable. You just want to be relatable. You want to connect with people. I'm not that far away from everybody here. Many people in this room probably more successful than me in business. But I've just done something that I know has changed my life, and I would love it if you guys would do the same thing. And I would love for you to flip this around, and instead of trying to be well known, just think about being known well, right? I don't care about if I build a massive, huge audience. I just want an engaged community that knows me. If they know me, they can flow me, as Grant Cardone says, right? I'll have opportunities coming my way. Cool things are going to happen. Good things happen to good people, but you got to know. They have to know you're good. So let's ring the register here, right? Let's get to the conversion step, okay? So we're going to do better content. Then we're going to connect with the audience. And then now you want to convert. Okay, so here's what I found with conversion. There are a small group of people that will reach out to you from you posting videos. They'll be like, oh, loved your video. I have a referral for you. Could you please help me in this way? I'd love to do business with you. That's great when it happens. It doesn't happen as often, especially when you're growing. But I found that there's this bigger group of people that will never reach out to you. They won't even heart up your video. They just watch this shit and they never engage. Do you notice this? I see people outside and they're like, hey dude, love your content. I'm like, bro, I've literally never seen you in the comments. Where are you at? So here's the thing. Those people, they will respond if you prompt them. I remember when I was first on social, I would type out a comment and then I would delete it because I was too embarrassed to put myself out there. That's most people out there. So you want to prompt them. Now here's the thing. Most people see a viewer on the left and a closed transaction or a client on the right. And you want this person to make the whole journey by themselves, right? You're like, hey, let me know when you're ready to take advantage of my offer. I'll be here. I'm ready. I got a basket waiting and I'll catch you. Well, that's great. It happens. It's awesome when it happens. But did you know how many people are just a few questions away from working with you? And you'll never ask them those questions, right? So you need to add a step in the middle, okay? Now, the step in the middle can be a guide, a webinar, an event, a checklist, something simple. This is called a lead magnet, and it's, for some people it might be marketing 101, but I just rarely see people doing this properly. They're always asking for the sale when you should be asking for the micro conversion. I met my wife at a company event. We worked for the same mortgage company, and we had this event in Vegas, and I saw her at the bar, and I was like, man, she's beautiful. I want to go talk to her. And I worked up the courage and went over there and started talking. But imagine if I went over there and I just said, hey, do you want to go upstairs? I probably wouldn't have a family, right now. Maybe you could pull that off, bro. I don't know about me. I can't do that. So could we have some conversation first before you try and close? Why don't we talk with the clients more and make it feel less transactional when you're selling? So I found that if you give something, it's not even an ask. You're just giving more value, and that is how you get them in there. Now, when you offer things, make sure that they're easy. A lot of people sell vegetables. You want to sell candy. Now, I understand that there's more to it than that, but in the beginning, don't sell work, okay? Just make it sound easy. People on social media are dumb, okay? Not literally, but they're I'm trying to find a nice way of saying this, but they're in a dumb state of mind, you know what I mean? Think about your own scrolling behavior. When you're scrolling, are you in peak intelligent mode? No, right? So you're probably kind of zoning out, relaxing. Did you know, if I want to order food right now, if I have to speak to the restaurant, I'm angry? You just want to push buttons and things to arrive. So I'm shocked when somebody says their call to action is okay, click this link and then fill this form out and then book this thing and then we'll work together. Nobody's going to do that today. So make it very simple. Like, if you want this, here's the way to do it. And so let me show you guys a call to action that I used in the real estate space, okay? This is for people who wanted to buy homes, but you can apply it to any industry. You're a millennial and you want to buy a home in 2024, but you're freaking pissed that you missed the opportunity when home prices were lower and rates were lower years ago. And it's like, shit, I'm right there with you, man. I wish I would have done a lot of things years ago. But you know, the crazy thing is, like, if you look back 5 years ago, the people who wanted to buy a house, they were pissed because they were like, man, I wish I would have bought a home 5 years before that, and so on and so forth. So like, looking backwards is kind of pointless with real estate. You're not going that way, and it's about what's ahead. Like, why do you want to own a piece of real estate in this market for the long term? What are the benefits to owning? And so once you get your head wrapped around that, that's when you can really take action and move forward. And if you want to do that this year, there's actually a guide that I can give you to help you with this process. I put together a quick guide. If you want to grab it, comment the word home below and it'll give you the tips that you need to know to find and structure a good deal in 2024. So I said I have this guide, and if you want it, comment this word. I also learned that the word needs to be easy to spell, okay? It's crazy. If the word is like too many letters, your conversions go way down. So in the comments of this video are literally just hundreds and hundreds of people asking for the thing. Imagine if I said in that same video, if you're ready to move forward, click the link in my bio and we can book an appointment, book a time to talk. I would have got maybe 1 or 2 people. I might have got 0. All these people I would have missed out on in my funnel. And so what you need to understand is the best marketers in the world are looking for signal, not sales. You just want someone to raise the hand that they're interested. And then now you can focus on the next step and the next step, and you can use automation. We use automation to automate all of these responses using a tool called ManyChat. And I'm happy if anybody wants to jam afterwards, I could explain how it works. But essentially, I'm generating business all the time. You know, the best business models are the ones that grow while you're asleep. While I'm speaking here, someone's opting into one of my videos and they're getting something from me and they're automatically getting the email. So it's just constantly in motion. And then from those people, somebody's going to move forward. And it's always kind of coming down to you. Is this making sense to you? Is this helping? Okay, good. So just remember this. I'm going to wrap up here, but make sure when you do a call to action that you tell them specifically what you have and specifically what to do to get it. Humans are attracted to clarity and confidence. They're repelled by confusion. Most offers are confusing, and that's when you lose people. People just don't have the brain capacity in 2024. Remember this shit. When you confuse, you lose, okay? Nobody takes you up on your offer. And what's crazy is it's a good thing. You have a great service. My video is great, but if I made the wrong offer at the end, it's crickets, okay? So it's a lot about packaging. It's not about necessarily, who's the smartest. It's who's doing the correct way on social, who's packaging this correctly. And so just going back to that hallway, I stuck with it. I kept speaking more, and I got better at it. I was intentional. I hired a coach, and I got better at speaking. And eventually, I got to speak on bigger stages and do things. And last year, this is me at our Forward event in Las Vegas. I had 1,000 people come out just to learn from me at our event in Las Vegas. It was a really cool experience. And now I get to speak to entrepreneurs throughout the country in different settings. And I get to do content and podcasts with my heroes. Like Erwin and I got to collaborate so many times. And Gary Vee and, Aaron Milet and Jamie's going to be here speaking tomorrow. We got to collaborate this past summer. And Alex Hormozy and all these great thought leaders I got to do stuff with because I just kept doing it. I kept sticking with it. I found that sometimes doors aren't closed. You just need to push harder. You just need to keep trying. And you'll be surprised how much people will respect you for just doing the thing that you said you were going to do. It's so simple. I found that people who are way above you, the number one thing that they respect, you can't flex on them because they're already way bigger than you, but you can just show your work ethic. They respect the heck out of that. You know what I mean? I'm doing my best not to curse. Sometimes I accidentally curse, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to do it here, okay? But here's what I found after all that stuff, is that fear doesn't go away. It just gets diluted. So I still get super nervous. Before this, I was in the back right over here, and I get like this knot in my stomach every time I'm supposed to speak. I still get nervous on camera. I still am an introvert. I'm a nerd. Like all these things are still there, but it just gets diluted. It's not holding me back anymore. So if you're scared about putting yourself out there, just know that goes numb eventually. And so I just want to share this last thing with you, and then we'll move on. There's this book, Atomic Habits by James Clear. You guys heard this book? And James Clear talks about this. He says, if a plane is going across the ocean, it's going transatlantic, and you change the nose of the plane by just a little bit, it ends up in a completely different destination. And so when you think about everything you're going to learn so far today, what you're going to learn for the rest of the weekend, you might feel overwhelmed. You might feel like you have a book of notes and you don't know what to do next. All you need to do is just pick one thing and then focus on executing that. Shift just a little bit. It could be one thing I said today, and you decide, hey, I'm going to do that video. I'm going to make it every week, once a week, 52 weeks. Next year, you're in a completely different place. What's the one thing for you going to be? And just think about this. When it's said, you'll feel something. If you felt something when somebody was talking today, that's an indication that you need to do something. And if you execute, you'll be there. And so a year from now, we'll either be complaining about how we never got started with that thing, or we'll be celebrating all the progress we've made. I can't wait to see what you guys do with this. Thank you very much. Thank you.